But while investigating that, I found something horrific. The remnants of an electrical fire. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and today we're going to continue on my classic daily driver, my 1975 XJ6, where we're bringing it back into daily driver use. I haven't used it for a while because of the brake issue. Fixed that in the last video with the new brake servo, and now the brakes feel really good. But we have a couple small niggly things, and there will be a couple small videos fixing these things. However, none of them are stopping me from using it, so after today, it's going to start doing the school runs in the morning again. Just got to change out the tires on it because it's still winter here. However, when I take this on a school run, I can use the small roads so they don't use salt on, they just use a little bit of grit. So it's not really going to affect the car. But we're going to have to put the studded winter tires on to go on those roads. However, one annoying thing is the wipers. I think a year and a half ago, the wipers failed. I made the video, we took the wiper motor apart and found just some issues, cleaned it up and everything worked well. However, a week later, the park function stopped working, so the wipers don't return to their natural position when you switch them off. So that's a bit of an annoying thing. I don't know if the issue is the wiper motor or the stock or something else. However, I have a spare wiper motor here. I just hooked it up. Let us turn it on, see if it works. If it does, we can put that in. If not, well, I guess we'll go on to fix something else with this car. This is the spare wiper motor I have laying around, and it is from a right-hand drive car. But when I look through part numbers, this is the same. It's just this tube that apparently is different. So we may have to do some swapping around in here. But let's turn on the ignition. Let's see if it even works. And if it does, we can try and figure out a good way of getting it to work. So, ignition is on. Yeah! That is working. That is the first speed. That is the high speed. That's working, and it sounds pretty quiet actually. And that is a single wipe and park. And that is a quick flip, and they go back to park. So that seems to work. It's just that the sort of initial park down here, that bit doesn't seem to do anything, but that could be the stock. But it returns to where it's supposed to be. And if I do that, it does a single wipe and goes into park. So I think we have one that works now. I put a zip tie on there to sort of make it look like a wiper blade, and we can figure out, so that's pointing to here, so that would be parking on the left side of the screen. So they do park on the left side, so I think I can just pull the cable out of there, push that cable in here, and it's gonna work. So let's use that nut over there. I'll undo that, put some fresh grease on that cable, push it in here, and then we'll do the same thing again. See sort of where it parks. I'm not actually sure if this is park or not. We'll figure that out. If it's not, then the wiper stock is the issue. But the sort of intermittent hold thing on the wiper stock and doing a whole sort of dance by itself, it didn't do that with the old one. So we're at least one step closer to everything working. It's pretty simple. You just feed this cable in here. So that one starts spinning, and then you make sure you hit the next one, and that one's spinning as well. And remember to wear gloves, and I forgot. But then it just slots back in here. It's just a lot of electrical connections here, not a lot, but two. And then there's a ground as well, which goes on there. So I need to do that before I button all this up. We'll do that, put the battery back in, and then figure out if we actually do have park or not. If we don't, I think we'll have to start digging into the stock. But I'm actually going to spray some cleaning solution into all the connections in here and trace them back to the connection block here. Just make sure that we have good connections as well. Even though the wipers do return to a good position now, I don't actually think it has park. But while investigating that, I found something horrific. The remnants of an electrical fire. Let me get you guys in for a closer look. It's going to be involved to fix this. It's not a quick fix. It's just two cables that are all get in here. However, to get to it, I think I need to remove the blower motor here. These are the cables that goes to the inertia switch, and that powers the fuel pumps. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when I picked this car up, it had two issues. It had a blown head gasket and it had an electrical fire in the dash. So what happened is the previous owner had packed some tools around the fuel pumps in the back, and they didn't have any safety connections. So while he was driving, a tool fell down, short-circuited the fuel pump, and he said smoke started coming out of the dash, and it melted the fuel switch. So that was one of the first jobs I did, was I replaced the whole loom under here because that was completely melted, and all of this was fixed. I never thought about looking over here, and that's 3 years ago. So I've been driving around with this. Luckily, this car hasn't burnt down. This is incredible. But it goes into the loom up here. Don't know how far back it's damaged. So I think that needs to go. And then we'll get in for a closer look. My main plan was just to have a look down here and see, because I hear a relay clicking over here when I hit the park, but nothing happens. So I was going to have a look at electrical connections for that. But this turned into a much bigger job than anticipated. This should be the last fastener holding the cedar box in place. There's one up there and one up in here. And there's an electrical connection as well. And then these ducts over here. So I think that came out. Issue ended up being this flat here. It has a little bit of a kink to it, so you see it is a little bit bent. Didn't really want to come off, so that'll be fun putting back together. However, what's going to be less fun is this. I've started to try and strip back some of the tape, but it's all melted together. This could be the reason why I don't have park, actually. Because over there is that main cable out there. I'm gonna get a knife out, start cutting this electrical tape back, and see just how bad all of this is. A considerable amount of time later, removing sticky old electrical tape, I think I've traced back as far as I need to. So here is all the burnt stuff, and it's burnt. Not burnt here, but it started to melt here. So this is pretty much where it started. So I can take it back to here somewhere. It's absolutely fine up here. And this is just some staining from the tape. So from there, I'll have two new cables going down there to the inertia switch. But while I'm in here, I'm going to have a look at the connectors over there, which is where you get the wires over to the wiper motor. Nothing else is melted on anything else. I'm very, very lucky in that aspect that it has just confined to these cables and nothing else. So that is very, very lucky, because there's quite a lot of wiring here, but everything else looks to be really good. It's been a bit of troubleshooting. I'm still working on the wipers. Since I have so much torn apart, I want to get them working perfectly. I took this wiper motor off to my other Series 2, and on there it parks and does everything. I took the wiper relay from that car. It doesn't work because the same thing doesn't park over here. And before that, I cleaned all the contacts in this wiper relay. But I think I may have found the issue. Let me show you guys. And it's weird. So, because everything else is working fine on it, I did not think about grounds, but I think the issue is a ground. Let me see. The black here in one of the two connectors, that is of course a ground, but that doesn't go into the plug. It goes to a, let's see if we can find it. It goes to a loose ground cable over here, which was not connected, and that is supposed to connect to the wiper motor, I think, and then this small ground cable here from the other side of the wiper motor goes to the ground of the car. So I think that could be the issue, which is really weird because it doesn't seem to need the ground otherwise. When it runs fine, but it needs that for the park thing, because when it goes into the park, it energizes this orange cable here, and that works, and it gets power to there, so it must be a ground issue. I'm going to connect all this up and we'll see if we finally have park on the wiper here. If we do, we can continue just replacing that cable over there that's burnt. I don't know if persistent or stubborn is the right word, but I think I'm stubborn. I got it working now. Let me show you guys. It didn't work at first, but I took everything apart one more time, and now it works, and I'm so happy about this. Let me show you guys. So now that's just regular run position, and you'll hear the relay click when I hit the park, and you'll hear the wiper motor make sort of a different noise because it goes a little bit further than it usually goes. Let me see if I can get it. It's a little fiddly. There we go. Now it did it. Can also do it with the one wipe, and there we go, parked. So that all works as it should. I think I might need just a little bit of contact cleaner in there, even though everything does click over here. I mean, it is a little bit of a finicky system, but I'm very happy it works now. I'm gonna put the wiper arms back on, set them up correctly, and then I'm gonna replace this wire here, loom all this back up, and we should be ready to be back on the road again. A little while later, and this is all loomed up again. So I made the splice up here. I have new cables going down there. Those are two yellow ones connected there. Blower motor's back in place. So let's see if everything works. All speeds working on the blower, and they're working very nicely. And we'll put them in their normal position, and then they park. If the screen was wet, they'd go fully off screen. I can push them there. It's just that, I mean, these are not the strongest wipers in the world, but they will go completely off screen if the screen is wet. And that is it for this video. We're just going to fix the wipers, but luckily we found those burnt wires. We were able to replace them, so that could have been really bad because that's the main feature of fuel pumps, and if something started burning there, it doesn't have a fuse, that could be bad, and also it could leave me stranded. So now the XJ6 is ready for some more daily driver duty. Have a couple things left to do, but we can do those along the way because it's not going to stop this thing from being used and being enjoyed. So I think tomorrow it's going to start with the school run again, and yeah, the next videos or so we'll fix some of the other leaks on this car. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.